Have you ever wondered how the nutrients from the food that you have eaten reach the different parts of the body? The body receives nutrients it needs through the circulatory system. Today, we are going to explore the circulatory system. So, get ready for a heart-pounding discussion. I am Ma'am Annabel Pirico Hermoso, your grade 9 science teacher. Welcome to science class, only here at Science Matters, where learning never stops. In today's lesson, our objectives are to identify the parts and function of the circulatory system, and to explain how the respiratory and circulatory systems work together to transport nutrients, gases, and other molecules to and from the different parts of the body. What is meant by circulatory system? The circulatory system is also known as the cardiovascular system. It is also known as the body's transport system because it is responsible for transporting the nutrients, gases, and other substances in the different parts of the body. The circulatory system is also responsible for removing and collecting carbon dioxide and other waste materials from the different parts of our body. Let's find out the different components of the circulatory system. It is composed of the heart, the blood vessels, and the blood. Let's take a look at each part of the circulatory system. Let's talk about the heart first. The heart is a major organ of the circulatory system. It is a hollow muscular organ. The heart pumps the blood all throughout the body. Without the heart, the blood will not be distributed or circulated in our body and is located in the chest cavity between the lungs. If we will look inside the heart, it has the right and left side. Our heart is divided into 4 chambers. The upper chamber is called the atria, and the lower chamber is called the ventricle. The left atrium, the right atrium, these are the collecting chambers of the heart. The right ventricle, left ventricle, these are the pumping chambers of the heart. The sides are separated by a thick muscular wall called the septum. Between these chambers are what we call valves. These valves prevent the backflow of the blood and ensure that blood flows in only one direction. The lub-dub sound a beating heart makes is caused by the closing of the valves. Between the right atrium and the right ventricle is the tricuspid valve. While the pulmonary valve is located between the right ventricle and the pulmonary artery. Between the left atrium and left ventricle is the bicuspid or mitral valve. The aortic valve is found between the left ventricle and the aorta. How do you think blood flows in our bodies? That is the job of our blood vessels. What are blood vessels? Blood vessels are the tubes that serve as the passageway of the blood throughout the body. There are 3 kinds of blood vessels: the arteries, the veins, and the capillaries. Let's talk about them one by one. Look at the given presentation on how blood flows from and into the heart. You can observe that arteries carry the blood away from the heart, while veins carry the blood towards the heart. Capillaries are the smallest blood vessels. As the blood travels to capillaries, it allows exchange of materials from the blood to the different parts of the body and vice versa. Oxygen and nutrients from the blood are transported to the different parts of the body, and at the same time, carbon dioxide and other waste material pass through the wall of capillaries and enter the blood to leave the body. In short, the exchange of oxygen, nutrients, and carbon dioxide and other waste materials takes place inside the capillaries.
Let's take a look at the parts of the heart with the blood vessels attached on it. The right atrium, left atrium, right ventricle, left ventricle, superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, ascending aorta, descending aorta, pulmonary vein, pulmonary artery, tricuspid valve, pulmonary valve, mitral or bicuspid valve, aortic valve. The aorta is the biggest artery, while the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava are the biggest veins.
Now, let's talk about blood. The blood are the ones that delivers oxygen and nutrients to the entire part of the body. The blood collects the waste materials, carbon dioxide, to be removed from the body. The blood has solid and liquid parts. The solid part makes up 45% of the blood and consists of WBC, or white blood cells, red blood cells, and platelets. The liquid part makes up 55% of the blood and consists of the plasma. What are the roles or functions of the different components of blood? Let's study first the plasma. What is plasma? Plasma is the liquid portion of the blood. It is yellow. It is made up of 90% water and 10% nutrients, proteins, hormones, waste, and electrolytes. What about the red blood cells? Red blood cells, or RBC, is also known as erythrocytes. The function of RBC is to deliver oxygen and nutrients to the different parts of the body. It is responsible for collecting and removing carbon dioxide and other waste from the body. The white blood cell, or WBC, is also known as leukocytes. WBCs are called the soldiers of the body. They protect and defend the body against diseases and infection. Let's talk about the platelets. They are also called thrombocytes. Platelets are fragments and smaller and have irregular shapes. They play an important role in blood clotting. When you have a wound or cut, the platelets help form a blood clot to prevent excessive loss of blood and close the wound. That is why platelets are very important in healing your wounds. Now, let's find out how the blood circulates in the body. Remember, the blue represents the oxygenated blood or oxygen-poor blood, while the red color represents oxygenated blood or oxygen-rich blood. The deoxygenated blood from the upper part of the body passes through the superior vena cava, while blood from the lower part of the body passes through inferior vena cava. Then it will be received by the right atrium, and the blood goes down to right ventricle. The right ventricle pumps the oxygenated blood and passes through pulmonary artery that leads to the lungs to get oxygen. The oxygenated blood will now become oxygenated blood. Oxygenated blood travels back to the heart and it will be received by the left atrium. Then it goes down to the left ventricle and pumps blood to the largest artery, which is the aorta, going to the rest of the body to deliver oxygen. After distributing the oxygen, oxygenated blood will become deoxygenated blood, and it will go back again to the heart and will repeat the process all over again. This is how our heart works.